Let's say that we have a data set that looks like this. A bunch of students, maybe they've got several different teachers or courses or whatever, but you have a data set with different scores. Um, this is actually set up with conditional formatting to color your scores. Basically, set up this to do you know anything greater than 90s green and so forth and so on. We just to give a visual. But if you're wanting to analyze this data with a pivot table, I have a pivot table set up on this data here. It's really difficult to get at any of the score data in this what we call this wide data set here. This data set right here is what I would call a wide data set. And it's difficult to be able to get at some of that data. So what we can do is, with one formula, I can convert this whole data set, wide data set, which has its purposes. A wide data set like this, for instance, I might want to chart a few of these, and in a wide data set, that would be relatively easy. I could make a chart of these students versus teachers. A couple clicks, I could probably get at some visual data that I wanted to. But some of the other data I might want to analyze, like for instance, what's the max and the min of a student? I could do something like this, and I could look down here and go, oh, the average is 52, the min 0, the max is 81. And I could do that, but I can't get a chart of that data very easily if we use this wide data. So instead we're using one formula, and this formula broken down, what it's doing is combining, we're concatenating A2 through A31. We're concatenating the students, and then we're putting in a delimiter, and we're just using any symbol, and then we're concatenating B1 to K1, so we're concatenating the teachers and a symbol, and then we're concatenating the scores. So now I actually have three different things that I am making three different columns, because that's actually the data I have. I have student, teachers, and scores, and I'm turning it into this tall data set. I'm doing it with a single formula with this literal array that's telling me I'm using this format to build headers, student, teacher, score, and then an array formula. And what we're doing is using a formula called flatten. We're flattening this data, and then we're splitting it on that symbol, and we're using an array formula on that. And when we do that, we create this tall data set. So one formula converts this whole data set into a single tall data set of student, teacher, score. And then when I use my pivot tables in this example, I can easily add things. I can easily build out my student list, and then I could do lots of different things with this set. But I could bring in the max, the min, the average, and the standard deviation all really easily using a pivot table that I was not able to do trying to do a pivot against that data set. So that's just an example of how sometimes looking at our data in different ways can really be helpful in changing things. Now that I have this data like this, I don't want to do the whole data set because it makes a big chart, but I could now pretty easily go ahead and build a chart, and let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so not bad. I've got a chart now that's giving me an average of my max, min, or my max score, my min score, and my average score for these for that group of students, for the first 10 students. So it does let you work a little more carefully with some of your data.